there's a new Marvel film, Spider-Man Brand New Day is out, and I seen it at the time recording this just over a week ago, because I seen it the Thursday, the day after the release. So welcome to I Review Spider-Man Brand New Day, and it's mostly just, well, yes, your classic review, a nice little Spidey Brand New Day review. Hi, I'm Emily, I'm on this video. So let's start off with what, like, the premise, the plot without the spoilery part of the plot are about. Spider-Man, at the end of the last one, does a spell with Doctor Strange to make everyone forget the existence of Peter Parker for some multiversal stuff that I can't exactly remember what it was to do with, like, different Peters and people that know Peter Parker from other universes coming into that one, and it was like, make everyone forget that you're Peter Parker to stop all these other Peter Parkers coming through. And I don't know if it worked on finding the universes where the Spider people are called Peter, but we don't know that. But yeah, it was just a big multiversal shenanigans to say spell. And yeah, so you find Peter, this is 4 years after the last one, and they do like a sequence for like the last 4 years, and he is just alone. He has no one, he has no friends, he has no one. He's just in like not the nice looking apartment, just him by himself, not basically being alone for 4 years. But we do find out in some time that he's like got in contact with Punisher of everyone. So yeah, you find out that there is someone is going around like mind controlling people. Ooh, mind control, who could this be? So yeah, you find out that someone is going around mind controlling, and Peter has to solve this, and he also has help from, sounds spoilers early. Well, Liana is part of the one people. There's someone who helps him in a bit with one of the funniest scenes. The scene in like her office that's like a hot tub office place, and you just see him in a pool of just a mascot. That was funny. That was very funny. But what I want to do now is talk about the sequence I went through the years. So we're seeing a bunch of villains. There was Lonnie Lincoln, who we needed. I want to see more. I need to see more of Lonnie. It was like one scene, and there was a photo behind the scenes of all the makeup that went into like to do with the character. And I was like, can we have more of Lonnie? That's not enough. That is nowhere near enough time. We need more of him in other movies. What else? There was Boomerang. He was in the montage. There was another that I can't remember the name of, and I think another one as well. Maybe another one that I can't remember the name of. But something that they really do that's very cool in that sequence was they recreated a bunch of Spider-Man comics, including the first one, Amazing Fantasy 15. That's just trivia. One of my trivias I like to say. What's the first Spider-Man comic? Amazing Fantasy number 15. One of my little trivia likes. That is very well known. So yeah, that was really cool, seeing a bunch of comic covers being reenacted. I love that. That was So yeah, in that something else, like I said, as well as recreating comic covers, they also done a bunch of things from the games. They recreated things from the Insomnia Spider-Man stuff, which was really cool. I haven't played the games, but I've watched like footage of people play them, and I've seen like clips, and I'm like, oh, that is so cool. And also visual wise, there was a part of it, multiple times done it, especially one particular, first person flying, and it did make you, with the game, so it made you feel like you were playing a game, which was so cool. The first video I've done was in Dolby, and so far the one video I've done was in Dolby, but I'm playing it well. But yeah, it was like first person like flying, which was so cool. I was like, oh, this is so cool. It did feel like you were playing a game, which I was like, I love this. I'm visual people. I clap. So yeah, let's talk about one of my favourite parts of the movie. It was the Punisher and Hulk stuff. This is the only thing I've seen of Punisher, because I'm not bit too much for me to watch like that extremely highly violent show from like the Netflix side of Marvel. I haven't seen that side of Marvel. Too much for me. Not my type of thing. Not my type of thing I'd like to watch. So yeah, this is the first thing I've seen of Punisher, and I know he was like toned down a bit, but they still had like all this like emotion there. I did do a bunch of research though to learn all about like backstory and stuff about the special and everything. I done loads of research on the special, about his show. I done loads of research about Punisher, so I knew a bunch of stuff before watching. That's what I made sure to do. And also with the Hands, who are also, they were in Defenders and Daredevil. I don't know if they were more, but definitely they were them too, especially the Defenders. That was part of my pre-movie research. I watched videos about the Hands and all about Defenders and all that stuff. So yeah, the Spidey Punisher stuff, there was they chose so good. Punisher being one of the funniest people in the movie is that's great, because Punisher is like obviously extremely like very, 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 very dark character. So having being like one of the funniest people in the film, if not the funniest, I'd say, was like, oh, I love this. The duo with him and Peter was, oh, this is great. I love this. Punisher Spidey duo. We just like, can we keep this? There was a part in particular when they were when MJ and Peter were at Punisher's boat house, boat house, and they were just like arguing each other in extremely thick New York accents, and you just like, you can't understand anything they're saying. So thank you, Reddit. But after the movie, I went on that and someone had like translated some of it, and I was like, thank you, person on Reddit. I didn't understand a word of what they were saying when I watched that, because it was about a running gag they had in the film, whereas Spidey saved Punisher from a gang in Staten Island. So if you're watching one, like you would see this if you're watching a movie, what the Staten Island stuff was about, that was it. That was what happened at Staten Island. So we say thank you, people on Reddit, for translating the extremely thick New York accents. Should we talk about mutants? Let's talk about mutants, two in particular. So there was the whole thing with the Sadie Sink. Who do we think Sadie Sink's gonna be? Who is she? She could be this person, she could be this person. What if she's this person? What if she's gender swapped of this person? Theories I've seen about Sadie Sink, God, there were so many, but my favourite, I like the Mayday, if you don't know, that's Peter and MJ's child from another universe. I liked that, but I was like, they wanted to be more grounded. There wouldn't be like multiversal stuff going on. I also love the Firestar theory, because there was a cartoon, I think it was 80s, maybe pretty sure it was 80s, with that was a lot with Spidey, Firestar and Iceman. Love, random trio, but love that. So I was like, oh, what if she's Firestar? Then I'm going to do like send them like Spidey, Iceman, Firestar trio, what if send them that. But she ended up being Miss Jean Grey, and I was like, love that. And yes, I knew beforehand. Put your hands up if you didn't see. No, put your hands up if you've seen the red carpet leak of that guy who was on the soundtrack, who was like, oh, I want to see Jean in this movie, and I was like, I did want to know beforehand, so I was happy that I see, because obviously Mimi Love X-Men has a Rogue bracelet on right here, so I did want to know beforehand if she was like, if she was going to be Jean, so I was like, okay, I do want to know beforehand, so I am glad I seen that red carpet video. Something I didn't know though was that part of Jean's backstory with her sister Sarah. Oh my god, that scene where her sister was going to the ice cream van and then got like kidnapped by the damage control people. And then the part where Jean's kidnapped and then it's the VMAX and she finds about her sister. And you don't, or you do, no one said, you just see like the vent max rose on like on the ventilation or aircon, whatever it was, and I was like, oh my god, that was good. So yeah, I never knew Jean Grey had any siblings. I love X-Men, but I never knew about Jean Grey's siblings. All I ever knew was when she was a kid, Charles took her to the school, and her and Scott were the first students. That's all I knew. That's all I knew from like other X-Men stuff, especially with the animated show. That's all I knew. So I never knew about like any of the siblings. So I was like, what she didn't have a sibling. And then later find out she has 3 siblings. So yeah, obviously, like, Sadie Sink was so great as Jean. She was great introduction. I can't wait to see, like, more of her. But I do think they should have waited till, like, the X-Men movie, because then it would have been, like, more X-Men movie, and have her as, like, one of the leads in that. I think that should be made, because obviously, like, she's incredibly a huge, very big, important character. It's because how important she is. I think they should have waited till the X-Men movie. So I think they should have done that, but she was great. She was so good in this film. I loved it. So with Ned and MJ, there's some scenes I want to talk to. There's the one where Jean, because she like doing a lot of body swapping throughout this movie, she takes over well, like, more like possession. What was like possession over MJ around that rooftop scene. Oh, and it's when, like, Peter kisses and hugs her thinking it's MJ, and then you just hear something like, what is MJ? And you just hear, like, the voice, and it's like, oh damn, that's Jean. And I'm like, oh my god. And then it's when MJ falls off the back of that building, and you do a second parallel with MJ to the Gwen Spider-Man 2 moment. I was like, nope. No. I just sat there like, time out. No. But what a scene I loved with Peter, MJ, and Ned was the one where they're in the apartment, not the party one. The one where I still like the party, but the one where they're in the apartment, and it's Ned and Peter building the Lego set, and which they're still making the Star Wars Lego together. They still love the Star Wars. I love it. And then MJ's like drawing the picture of the both of them, and then later, and then we'll get into another scene with the picture with that later. Oh my god, I love that scene. It was like, this is just so nice. They're sitting there again, and they know Peter has his friends back, and oh, it's so lovely. So let's talk more. Yeah, do we talk about the hospital? Yeah, let's talk the hospital. Okay, so the hospital scene where Peter brings in where Frank brings in Peter, and he's like carrying him, and they have to parallel to the Civil War. I learned this afterwards, the name of the comic that's parallel of the Civil War cover, which was one of the other comic ones they did, and I was like, oh my god. And then it was cool, but like, I definitely got a panel in that picture in that book of the Civil War one, the recreation. I was like, oh. And then it's like how Punisher sitting with Spidey the whole time, making sure he's okay, and he's like there when he recovers, and it's like, oh, because he accidentally shot him with, I think it's a bazooka, big stupid big gun. I think bazooka I think is the right word for what that was. And I was like, oh. And then you see the picture again that MJ drew on the desk next to his bed. I'm like, crying again. So many moments just crying for this film. Yeah, and then you have the end movie, and then so it's like how Peter can get out without being detected. How did his identity stay a secret when he was in the hospital? Frank would have threatened every single person that worked there. If Frank Castle tells you something, you have to listen right away, because Punisher. It's an upset. You have to do whatever he says. So yeah, when Frank has like the mask on, and he's going like, ooh, through the hospital window with pretending to be the Spidey. That was one of my favourite scenes. I love that scene. That was so good. So yeah, when I was thinking about like sad parts then, that reminded me of the cameo with May. May was like, when they said about surprises in the film, because I knew about Lyanna because I seen the clip of Kevin Feige talking about it. I knew the Jean thing because of the clip I said about, but I didn't know about May. I know she went to the premiere the day before she was at the London premiere, and I was like, oh, she's there to support the movie because she was in the first three and she was as May, and that's so nice that she's got to see the movie. How lovely! And then watching it, I was like, in like the flashback scenes where it was when he just, and then they had the one with where it was like Jean went in his mind, and it was like had like Jean listening to the words Peter said, and it was like, you're beautiful, you're amazing, and you could just see like Jean has never been told any of this in her life. She was just crying so much. I was like, oh my god. I love that the flashback scenes with May. Oh my god, that was good. So the real villain of this movie, they made you think it was Jean, but it was not Jean. Jean's not a villain. Jean just isn't a villain, even when she does like Phoenix Forcey stuff, she's not a villain. Bill surname begins with an X-Men villain. Bill, from what I know about Bill, he is, the X-Men villains. I hate mutants, humans are better than everything, mutants are the worst, we hate mutants, boo to all mutants, destroy all mutants, mutants are the worst. Bill, that's him, he's one of them guys. I was like, oh no. So yeah, when he was like doing experiments on Jean, and I was like, oh thank god thankfully she escaped. But also, something I want to talk about with Hulk, when he was talking about his inhibitor, and then Peter made his own one, well it was Bruce then, and then Peter made that microchip thing to prevent his powers from going more. That is so gonna be inhibitor collars. That was like, the second I seen them, Peter making that, when he talks about the microchip and put it on his neck, I was like, oh hello, inhibitor collars. We're bringing inhibitor collars in them for like the X-Men sometime in the future. Yeah, inhibitor collars, obviously they're really bad. If you don't know, inhibitor collars are from X-Men stuff. It's basically like, imagine like a really thick dog collar, and there's like technology that stops the mutations from working. They also have gun versions as well, where it's like crazy amounts of them put in at once. So I was like, ooh, oh no, Peter made inhibitor collars. That's gonna end really badly. That he's one of Jean's only friends, if not Jean's only friend, that he has made inhibitor collars. Oh no. I hope they don't find out he did that. So yeah, what I want to talk about now, one last thing to talk about, unless I think of more, because I know it's going to be a long video, is Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner in this, he just wanted to teach in the university. That's all he wanted. He was happy at his class. His class asked him about Hulk questions, but also did the work as well in the physics. He just wanted to be a physics teacher, and then Jean kidnapped him, made him go into Hulk again. And now he's like taken somewhere. And when he kept going, is everyone okay? Is everyone okay? Is it who else is hurt? Is anyone hurt? Is there one person hurt, or is anyone else hurt? Where is everyone? Is everyone okay? I was like, oh my god, Bruce. Oh, he didn't want to turn into Hulk. He just wanted to be a teacher. I know he's probably not going to be able to be a teacher again. Also, would you? If you were a dean, think of this, you're a dean of a uni, would you hire Bruce? I don't know, because you gotta think, on the chance that inhibitor breaks, which it did, you could have Hulk running around the building. Any villain could just walk in, like what Jean did, break the collar, and he's like, I don't know, and then Bruce, then he's Hulk, he's not Bruce. I don't think it was a good idea, but he would just wanted to be a teacher. That's all he wanted, and we should let him. So yeah, the one last thing, unless like I said earlier, I think of more, is they do MJ and Ned remember Peter. So I'm part of like people believe the theory that Jean done like some mind stuff with MJ, and when she was like crying, and then later on, you see her like holding the necklace. I always wonder, where does she think that necklace is from? She doesn't remember Peter. She remembers. MJ is starting to remember Peter, because it was the way she was like holding the necklace from Far From Home. I was like, she remembers. And then at the end with the handshake with Ned, I was like, that handshake is done something with his mind, and it's given like very small amount of the memory of Peter. From like the last scene in the movie, and then when he goes, Peter, Peter, I'm like, that's his memory coming back. So yeah, overall, Spider-Man Brand New Day, I loved it. On the ranking, my current, if it's saying like favourite Spider-Man movie so far, it is still No Way Home, even though that movie is gonna be so sad. But I just really love the dynamic with the three Peters, that movie. Three of the Peters, not the three, because there has been more live action than three. From what I know, 4, there could be more, but definitely there's been 4 live action Peters. I just love that dynamic so much. So that is still my favourite. No Way Home is my favourite. But this is a close second. I loved Brand New Day. I can't wait to see what's next with Peter. The credit scene where it had the Spidey tracker that Ned made. Not a stalker. He's not stalking Peter. This is not a creepy weirdo thing. Not one weirdo. This is nothing strange. Where it went off planet, then it detected something in space. What could it be? I don't know. Probably Secret Wars, because I don't think, for like Doomsday wise, I think it'll just be like CGI Peter Parker flies in. I don't think we'll see like Tom Holland, even though I think that's, yeah, even though they filmed at the same time sitting next door to each other and everything, but I think you won't see him. We'll just be like, that's just how they'll have Peter in it, and they'll just be like, this Spidey fighting over there. But Secret Wars, because I haven't read anything Secret Wars, but I do know there's a lot to do with Spider-Man in it. So I think they'll wait till Secret Wars, and then have as one of like the main ones for the Secret Wars movie, which should be 2. Secret Wars still don't think, there's no way Secret Wars can be doing one movie. That has to be 2 movies. But yeah, I think the Spidey tracker is something to do with Secret Wars. So yeah, Spider-Man Brand New Day, really great movie, really loved it, had a great time. It was so sad, but oh, it was great. Yeah, so I know it's been a long video, but you know what it's like for Marvel movie reviews. We have a lot to talk about and a lot of things to theorise and theories and everything, so much to all different characters. So if you enjoyed it, people, you know what to do. Like, subscribe for Twitter at EmilyRoseLive and the Twitch EmilyRoseLive. And I'll see you next people. Bye. Mwah.